I forgot to turn on the volume to YouTube. Thank you. Where was I? Alrighty, where was I? Let's see. We like to be nice here on the Rabbit Hole Net, so no cursing or politics. This is a family-oriented network, and we encourage you to get your family involved. All of the following week, after each Rabbit Hole Net, a short video or a message will be posted to the North Georgia GMRS Facebook page to let you know what the next topic will be. If you have any questions or suggestions, please email us to rabbithole@nggmrs.org. We'll begin taking check-ins at this time. Please do so with your SCC call sign, your tactical unit number, your name, and general location. Again, if you are tuning in and you don't have a membership, feel free to participate just using your SCC call sign. Net control standing by.
If Noonan 40 pops up, we already got him. He was the one that called in whenever we were leaving.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. This may be all we're going to get.
Is the sound on for the
Yes, I turned it on.
Okay, just make sure. I turned it on my phone and I didn't hear anything.
I had forgot to unmute the mic, and I got a text saying that it was muted. We like to be nice here.
Okay. Definitely is on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. I did want to go ahead and call for somebody. Whenever we were going on our break, I heard somebody go over the area that was Noonan 40. Aristus.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure I'm saying that right. From Palmetto. He was in with us tonight, I believe. If not, then...
That's okay. We'll just move on.
Yep, don't have to answer that. And that's what we got. So if there is anybody here for early check-ins...
This is not early check-ins.
That is not early check-ins, that's correct. Just for check-ins in general. Then come over to us. Any repeater, anywhere, Zillow, flagship, anywhere. Net control standing by. Come on. Hey. Go on.
Darn it.
WRSK 582, wrong 36, checking in, checking out.
936.
Good evening, this is Atlanta 285. I'll also be checking in and out this evening. It's WRTJ 750, again, that's Atlanta 285.
Okay.
This is WRXC 696, Dallas 64, Josh and Dallas. Check me in and out tonight, please. This is WSBW 497, Chattanooga 139, checking in and out of the net. Thank you.
Is there anything in the chat?
No, not that I see.
Not yet? Okay.
saw Josh, he commented saying, I just realized it was Rabbit Hole I'm listening in and watching YouTube though. So
Okay, cool.
okay. Go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, we'll go ahead and call off who we have here. We have Rome 36, and that is Jeffrey, and Silver Creek is in and out with us tonight. There's Atlanta 285, Ben in Atlanta is in and out with us tonight. Then we have Dallas 64, Josh in Dallas is in and out with us tonight. Chattanooga 139, Robert in Ringgold is in and out with us tonight. And if there is anybody that is listening to the stream on YouTube here, if you need to check in here and not able to get to the radio, that is also fine. Anybody that's trying to check in here, net control standing by. Any repeater, anywhere. Chat what?
260. That was just a call sign. Did you get it?
WSC. Hold up. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and hold it right here. We had a guest check-in. I got a partial reading, but if you were coming through as a guest check-in and don't have a call sign,
No, he was just using his call sign.
or yeah,
But we missed it.
yeah. So if you wouldn't mind just coming back through the air and repeating your call sign, that'd be great. Okay, I thought so. SCE39.
Okay.
Alright, I figured as much. I just didn't have the E in the call sign there. And what was your name there?
It's Robert in Chatsworth, Georgia.
Alright, we got you in there. So we had Chattanooga 260, if I believe. Colt is in with us tonight. And then we have a guest check-in, WSCE 395. Robert from Chatsworth is in and out with us tonight. Then we have Chattanooga 248. Matthew in Old Fort is in with us tonight. Neck Droll is standing by.
Chatty 260, not 250, sir.
260, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 260. I got you in. Right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Just making sure.
Next roll. Chattanooga 48. Check me in and back out, please.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. The last one.
Mm-hmm.
Chat 248. Matthew, we've got you in and out. Thank you, sir, for coming back. Okay, so we should probably just go ahead and kick it off, huh?
Might as well.
This is.
Or not.
Good evening, Net Control. This is WRNW 488, Atlanta 532. Tom in Flowery Branch. Check me in and check me out. Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, let's,
This is
well, never mind.
PSTN 280, CW 57, checking in and out.
CW57.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really like Miracle Whip, do you?
Oh, God, no.
Thank you, God.
Sorry, what was that?
Atlanta 946, Justin.
The Miracle Whip fried my head over here.
We're gonna leave him in.
Did you say in and out?
He didn't, so.
Oh. Net controller
He
making a
made
rookie
his
mistake.
bed. He made his bed.
And net controller making a rookie mistake. That's crazy. Alright.
Okay, I think that's gonna be it tonight. So let's go ahead.
Probably.
Go ahead and acknowledge.
Got it going. Alright, I'll go ahead and acknowledge who we have here. We have Atlanta 532. Tom in Flowery Branch is in and out with us tonight. We have CW57. Richard in Stevens, Georgia is in and out with us tonight. Atlanta 946. Justin in Woodstock is in with us tonight. And I think we'll go ahead and kick our net off.
Let's go ahead and begin. So tonight's topic is obviously an open forum. We're going to talk about anything regarding prepping, anything at all. So Seth, I have a question for you. What do you think is the best thing about prepping? Or do you think it's a waste of time? And I ask that because, I found an article that I thought was pretty interesting. And, what do you think? Are we wasting our time here?
No, I wouldn't say that it's a waste of time because there's definitely a lot of variety that you can learn from prepping in general, especially with the way that we've done prepping ourselves. Because, sure, you are padding a future to where if something does happen, you have something to fall back on. Make sure you have food, water, medicine, the whole comforts of life and everything like that. But I do believe that there is no waste of time for doing this because even if you don't want to do this for prepping, it's still something that would get you good experience as of different food processing methods like canning, there's the freeze drying, there's the vacuum sealing.
Well, and then there's, water purification, because if the power goes out, then if we lose power for a long period of time, then eventually, the water's going to run dry. So I think it's also important to, have those skills as well to purify water, catching rain and things like that. But this article I thought was really, really interesting. It's survivalsullivan.com for anybody that wants to check this out. And I have the website in the description. So it's just a very interesting article, and it goes on. It says sometimes it can cause us to doubt our own actions and motivations. Is it possible that prepping is pointless? And it says, no, prepping is not pointless. Done correctly, with attention paid to personal context, prepping can be the hedge against natural and man-made disasters as well as setbacks in finance or health. So,
that's right.
Good call.
Alright, go again.
So I have it pulled up on the YouTube, and take it back to the top here. So if you want to visit that website, so it's very informative. Why do people think prepping is pointless? It never fails that some people simply think prepping is pointless, and for a whole host of reasons. We've had that encounter with people before as well, with people thinking that we have two heads. You know, we wear tinfoil hats and this and that and the other. But it is not pointless at all, because all in all, if you really think about it, everybody is a prepper to some degree. You know, when you go to the grocery store, even if you just buy groceries once a week, you're still prepping for the week. Does that make sense?
Oh no, it definitely does, especially because it's not just the prepping like a lifestyle for everything, because it does have its own practical uses. Because even if you don't want to be considered a prepper, but you do go outside a lot, do a lot of hiking and a lot of camping and everything like that, then those skills still do transfer over. Because say you don't want to spend the money on like mountain house foods, or just bring your own stuff, make sure you have the proper um, um, medical equipment that you need whenever you go on these trails, or
You're prepping for that.
yeah. And then there's the water purification. Those skills transfer over into those areas. So it's not just necessarily prepping skills, it's just more survivalist skills.
So what do you think? Let's break for a second. What do you think? I'm trying to think of how to word it. What do you think constitutes a prepper? What do preppers do that other people don't do?
I think that would be just in terms of a lot of different perspectives, but the more general term is just like
if you prepare for 1 month, are you considered a prepper?
I wouldn't say that. I would more just say you are prepared, but you probably wouldn't consider yourself a prepper.
Right.
Because for us, we consider ourselves a prepper because we go the mile of, oh yeah, it's not just 1 month. We're thinking to ourselves, oh yeah, this is going to last us a couple months, and our supplies are going to last us to build up another like 3 months if we go about it right. Purifying water, storing water, knowing the lay of the land, and being able to just build up from what we use.
So I think what you're trying to say is you do not think it's a waste of time.
No, definitely not, because it's definitely
you
something.
grew up with it.
Oh, of course, I'm a little biased on it, but at the same time, everyone has their own way of viewing it. But you may want to see it as a waste of time, but others don't, and may be similar in what you do. So you may see what we do as a waste of time, but you may take points of what we do as
and apply it to your own life.
Yes. So you may just say, oh, I don't want to do everything, but I'll take this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And
we have something for everybody here.
Of course, because we're not going to tell you, what you should do.
No.
But you could use us as a base of inspiration and go off of all of what we do and create your own little study of what you want to do.
Let's break. So let's say if you've got 3 months worth of stuff, and you constantly keep it at 3 months. You rotate and all this kind of stuff. Is that considered a prepper?
I would, because at that time you're being consistent about what you're trying to do. Because having at least 1 month is doable.
Is a good thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but it's also just simple. It's something you don't have to put a lot of effort into doing. But going 3 months in advance, doing the rotations and everything like that, then I would consider you a prepper, because you're taking the extra couple steps to keep it at that 3 month status. Because you're going through the stock, making sure you're checking the dates on whatever you're grabbing, rotating everything new to old, making sure you're just applying a little bit at a time to build it to that 3 months. And if you use something about it, out of it, then you immediately fill it right back up.
Yeah, and what I usually do is, for instance, if I grab a couple of cans of something to make for supper, but when I go to replace it, I double it. If I use 2, I'm buying 4 and replacing it. And that right there will, before you know it, you have a really good stockpile. So,
well, because it doesn't take long for you to get that stockpile built up.
No.
And it's one of those things of, going back into, I know that Dallas 20 just made a comment saying for food insurance, because you may not want to be considered a prepper because all you're doing is just getting food. And if you're just doing, he was saying food insurance as like a method for like family.
That's great.
Yes. Like in case something happened to where you wouldn't be able to get a lot of food for the week. You know, money's running short, had to pay, use the money for bills or anything that happens, then you can use that stockpile that you have and last until the next week. Right. So nothing is fully black and white in terms of being a prepper or not.
It isn't, you know, and if anybody that's listening is not a prepper, but you might be considering it, just start small. Absolutely, just start small. You know, start on, and you know, I always say, write down everything that you think you might need, but put it in categories and work on one category at a time.
Mm-hmm. Because if you try and go and look at everything all at once, then you're just going to overwhelm yourself.
It's going to overwhelm you, guaranteed. Because when we first started, you know, I was overwhelmed because I would watch all of these YouTube channels and read all these articles, and I'm like, this is impossible. But, you know, it's not. It's not impossible.
No, definitely not. Because we've been doing it for how many years?
16.
16, yeah. Quite a long time. We'll have to create a special event, I guess, once we hit the 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we celebrate a special event when it goes to 18, when it classifies as an illegal adult?
Right. All right, let's break. Okay. Did you have any more comments, Seth, before we go to see what everybody else has to say?
Only thing I'd have to say is just to look at the entire aspect of what it is to be a prepper and understand that you may call yourself a prepper, but you're doing something small, but that's okay because that's what you consider being a prepper. So it just comes to terms with how you want to put a label on it.
You don't even have to label it.
You don't.
You don't. I mean, if you don't like the word prepper, call yourself a survivalist. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But as we always say here on the Rabbit Hole, just do something.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not doomsday.
Yeah. Well.
That's a little extreme. Oh, I mean, you know, I can't stress it. If you want to go doomsday, build a bunker, by all means.
Go for it.
If you have the extra funds, please, slide some my way. Anyway.
Right. Okay, let's see what, who is first on the list, Seth?
That would be CW43. Chad, what do you have in terms of just prepping in general?
Questions or comments?
Anything to ask us or the crowd?
Good evening, Lisa, Seth, and David and Savannah. First of all, thank y'all for having me. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I'm on top a little bit of airtime tonight and make it up. I was looking to possibly get an ink pen and a pad to write some things down because we're going to go deep into the rabbit hole tonight. We're going to talk about mental and psychological preparation.
Yeah.
Let me break. Mental and psychological preparation is something that a lot of people don't think about because we're focused on everything else. We're focused on eyes and everything else.
Right.
And the reason this is kind of taken on my heart is my 30 plus years in law enforcement. I've seen bad wrecks. I've seen house fires. I worked murders, suicides, homicides. You name it, there's not much I haven't seen out there. And it's very stressful, traumatic situations. Normal people do not think right. Something as simple as asking somebody's address or date of birth or whatever. People, they get tunnel vision and in a grandchildren, anybody that you love and care about, you need to write some of these things down. Let me break. Deal with negative situations. First and foremost, I'm going to get one thing out of the way. We have gotten too dependent on technology and cell phones. Let me break.
True that.
We have gotten dependent on cell phones, and basically it is an extension of our body. Each and every one of us go in panic mode, a simple panic mode, if we think we've lost our phone or somebody or something. How many of you in your head, close friends, that on fast, out of the hundreds of numbers you've got in your phone, you need to write them down. Any loved one, anybody that you care about. Important numbers, you need to write those things down. Reason being, I've lost a lot. Phones have been broken, damaged, thrown out of vehicles, lost contacts, lost addresses. Let me break. A lot of next of kin before in death. As far as psychological and mental preparation, things like that. You have to build yourself up for discussing things like that. But the reason I want to get down this hole is I want everybody to think that this is serious business, and I know trucking in general is serious, but this is more serious than that, I think. Your loved ones are the ones you're thinking about right now. The most important for you. If you're going down the road and you're in a bad wreck, law enforcement's going to be there, of course we'll be there. EMT's going to be there. Do you have a copy of their health insurance card? Do you have a copy of their policy number? Yeah, sure, take a picture of it with your phone, that's fine, but you need to write it down. You need to have it in access where you can get to it and where you can know. Because you're not going to be thinking straight. They're going to be asking these questions to you and you're going to have tunnel vision. Let me break.
Very true.
Not just an accident. So you're walking in a mall, you're eating in a restaurant or whatever. Your family member, they fall out. EMTs are coming or whatever. Let's say they're choking. You know first aid for choking? You can actually do first aid on yourself for choking. Of course, you can't do CPR on yourself. But I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to get the appropriate knowledge and training and first aid for choking and or CPR. And break. Also, while your loved one is down or injured in a wreck or whatever, are they on medications? You need to write a list of allergies. Are they allergic to anything? Are they allergic to any kind of foods, any kind of medications? Write their blood type down if you know it. Let me break. We don't think of certain things like that, but in a situation like that, like I said, everybody, even me, everybody gets to a situation where you have got to improvise, overcome, and adapt to the situation. That's the old Marine Corps saying there. But you get to think through things. You have got to be able to be clear. And when you're in that environment and you're focusing on trying to help a loved one or whatever, you're not going to be thinking straight. I'm not better than that. Small enough to where in your wallet you can friend, let me break. The dash of the vehicle, ladies, right? Then now going to go to natural disasters, tornadoes, fires,
Chad, your radio is breaking up a little bit. Well, that was definitely a rabbit hole there, Chad. You're 100% correct. We are completely reliant upon technology. You know, and I've seen teenagers like walking around in the stores. I've seen them, you know, freak out because they can't find their mobile phone, and they're literally almost in tears. And it kind of breaks my heart because, you know, we grew up where, you know, we had rotary phones and everything was written down, and we remembered all of our phone numbers and things like that. And you know, I felt kind of sorry for them because they didn't know a world like that. They didn't. These days, you don't have to have a memory because your phone has the memory for you, unfortunately. But you know, another thing that I think is important too, when you said that you know, you write things down and have things, you know, get a little notebook or something and write everything down, the phone numbers and, like you said, the medications and all of that. I have all of Mom's medications written down for me, just in case if she were to get incapacitated, then I have to take over, you know, helping her with her dialysis machine and making sure she gets her meds at the right time during the day and things like that. And another thing that I think is important is, you know, a lot of people use Kindle and read books on a tablet or something, but I think it's very important to have hard copies, especially if you have survival books and, you know, canning books and things like that. I think it's important to have hard copies. You know, and one of the most important books you should have a hard copy of is the Bible, and the Constitution, by the way. And like and you mentioned natural disasters, you definitely should have all of these contacts on a list, on a piece of paper, on a hard copy. Who can you call, etc., and things like that. Very, very good rabbit hole there, Chad. I enjoyed listening to that, and you know, I think that that's very important and very knowledgeable to teach people that, you know, it's not the 80s and early 90s anymore. We have to get back to that. We need to write things down and have hard copies. Let's see, Seth, who is, thank you, Chad. Seth, Who's next on the list?
That would be Atlanta 1126 Joseph from Snellsville. What do you have for us regarding prepping either comments, questions, question to ask us, question to ask the crowd?
Let's see, I gotta find Dana. He's in. He may have been in and out.
Maybe.
We'll give it a second. Atlanta 1126 Joseph, were you in tonight?
I do believe he was.
I guess he's in and out. Let's move on.
Alright, going. Alright. Might have been in and out, but we'll go from there. Next on the list, we have Atlanta 557, Ed in Kennesaw. What do you have for us regarding prepping either comments, questions? What do you got?
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm just going to mention one of my favorite prepping topics, and that is Meshtastic. We talk about food, we talk about water, we talk about self-defense, and communications is another piece. And while we have a great latent repeater system that we have, let me break, infrastructure does go down, especially in an extended outage like we had in North Carolina not that long ago. And that's where Meshtastic comes in. So if you want to learn about it, I'm not going to talk about it at this next because we already have, but meshtastic.org is a great place to go and get information. If you're around Kennesaw on Tuesday, come join us for our lunch at Old Town Grill. We can talk about it there. And I'll just leave you with one thought, and that is, while many of our family members are not radio folks, everyone loves to text, and that's where Meshtastic comes in. It looks and feels just like texting on a phone without cellular or internet. So it's a great tool that anybody can use. I'll turn it back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Ed. Yes, indeed. Anybody's interested in that, go to meshtastic.org, and I'm going to be visiting that site myself. Because you're right, infrastructure can go down. It has gone down, and it can go down again. But thank you so much, Ed. That's very, very good. I'm going to visit that website. Seth, who else do we have? Who's next?
Next on the list, that is Atlanta 780 Houston. I believe he was in with us tonight. If not, then we can pass along.
Well, let's see if he's here.
Of course, Houston, what kind of questions or comments do you have for us here?
Hi, good evening, Les, Lisa, Seth. I don't really have any questions. I meant to say that I was in and monitoring, but
That's okay.
just listening.
Okay. Well, Houston, it's always great to have you here. Thank you for checking in with us tonight, and we will move on. Thank you so much, Houston. Seth, who's next?
Oh, wait, it'll be a fun one. It's Dallas 20.
Oh.
Dallas 20. What kind of questions or comments do you have concerning here? I know it's a tough topic since you know nothing about what we're going on about, but just say what's on your mind. We're waiting.
Good evening, guys. And I am not used to using the Zello. Used to using the radios. I had to go mute the TV because I've got YouTube playing in the background. Y'all are doing a great job tonight, and great topics that we brought up. And yeah, speaking of books, I just went out to a little military surplus store here, and they have a rack of the old military manuals. You know, the survival manuals, the Ranger handbook, and map reading and land navigation. So it is important to have a lot of the hardbacks here food insurance for your family. It's a way that if hardship falls on you or someone you know, your neighbors, a family member, or whatever, and they happen to lose their job, you can provide them the food they need so they can save their money for other items, whether it be a car payment or whatever else, if they're in part-time, but it's our duty. We're supposed to take care of our family, provide for our family at all times. And, whether you call it prepping, homesteading, whatever you want to, it was just a way of life. But it wasn't until the Doomsday Prepper show came about that it became weird to everybody, because there were some crazy people there. But it's your responsibility to take care of your family. So just do something. Start small, work your way up, go from there. If you have any questions, reach out. We're all here to answer. We're all here to help.
You want to take that?
Of course. No, I think that it is a, perfect description about what it is, because it doesn't have to be for any big cataclysmic event. It could just be for something as simple as just, your own family and, helping others in the neighborhood, or just one of the, family friend that's just in trouble. And that's how simple it can be for prepping, because you don't realize how bad something like that could be until it does happen. And if you're not ready for it, then it definitely it takes you off your feet. It makes it to where you don't know what to expect in that situation. And preparing for it is just the least that you could do, because then you can at least give whoever you're helping, whether it be a friend, neighbor, anything like that, or even yourself, it gives you that moment to think about, saying, it's one less thing I have to worry about.
At least I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's one less thing to worry about.
Okay.
So I do think that is a very good way of thinking about it, to where if you don't want to
it's like I said, it's like I said, it's food and water insurance, but as well as other things, med supplies and all that other stuff that goes along with it. It's basically an insurance policy. So yeah. Alrighty. Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate your
See you in a
comments.
week. Okay, so who's next?
Next on the list, we have Atlanta 250, Dana from Dahlonega. What kind of questions or comments do you have for us tonight on our open net?
Well, first, good evening, Lisa, David, and Steph. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
And you know what I want to talk about, and let me break real quick. And that is something near and dear to my heart, and that's emergency communications. Now, my good friend Ed, Atlanta 557, touched on something that's very important, and that's the Meshtastic program. And I encourage everybody to really look into that. Let me break. But emergency communications, the whole Friday night at 9 Simplex challenge, we encourage folks, because Lisa, you hit it right on the head. When something like this happens, and Chad also hit it, you don't have everything stored in your head. You've got to resort to writing stuff down. Let me break. And that's where I encourage folks on the Friday night at 9, the Simplex Challenge, that we encourage people to create footprint maps. Not only does it show your range, your transmitting range area, and who falls within that area, which is great. But like Lisa said, a lot of people are so dependent on technology, they don't know how to read a map anymore. Well, if you create this footprint map, you're also getting used to reading a map, because that's what it is. You're just
So, you know, all that being said, you know, if you prepare, I honestly think prepare prevents panic. And, you know, maybe I should start using that instead of practice a plan. But seriously, if you prepare and you know you're prepared, there is no psychological drain. You pop into preparation mode right away. So do it a little bit at a time. Let me break.
What are you
Do
doing,
it a
Seth?
little bit at a time, but do it consciously. You know, definitely put
Are you
some
listening?
effort
Yes.
into it to make sure you are doing it. And next thing you know, you have a complete and total plan, not just food backup, not just the ability to protect yourself, and not just emergency communications on RF, but next thing you know, you've got a plan in place. And I do encourage PTP, practice that plan when you have it done. Lisa, Seth, I turn it back over to you. Great job.
Go ahead, Seth.
All right, I do appreciate that. No, it is, you know, like you were saying, to go off of what Ed was saying, she had, no, 21 had pulled up on the live stream here the Meshtastic, was that it?
Mm-hmm. It's meshtastic.org.
Yeah, pulled that up on the live stream that way we could see, because that was one of the reasons why we had joined North Georgia here, was for the
Emergency communications.
yes, being
I'll
able
pull
to be
that
part
up
of a big network, trying to be able to, you know, communicate with others in case something was to happen. We'd be able to relay with other people and communicate to a wider band of people that way.
Well, I think that I'm looking at the website here. I've got it pulled up again. It seems fairly straightforward. It 3 steps here. Choose a device, flash and configure your device, and then connect to your device. It seems pretty straightforward. So we're definitely going to have to get into that, because, like Ed said, it doesn't require internet. Works like texting, which is everybody knows how to do. So if the radios go down, you know, it's like Ed and Dana have said, you know, if the radios go down, Meshtastic is there for you. So that's a great piece of ammo to add to your prepping stock. So.
So in case anybody just needs that extra line of security, especially for extra communication, then that's just one of those things that's right there and open for you.
Yep. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Seth, who's next?
Next on the list, that is Noonan40 Aristus from Palmetto. What kind of questions or comments do you have for us regarding prepping?
Hey, how you doing? That COVID, when it came around, that kind of frightened everybody. Everybody started being a self-prepper, including me. We stocked up on toilet paper, paper towels, and we got a big pantry full of canned foods, 3 freezers full of frozen stuff, and it just scared people to a point where you had to be a prepper,
Pretty much.
just in case something bad happened, and you were ready to support your family and help others if needed. And we still have all that stuff saved up, so it's kind of spoiled us also, because now we have all this frozen food, and we have a giant room as a pantry, and it's got to a point now where stuff is starting to expire, and it was kind of selfish, wrong to do that, but I know we had to prepare ourselves because things were closing up. You weren't able to get out and buy stuff like you were supposed to or you needed to. But I guess it's not a bad thing if you can buy food that doesn't expire for several years and put it away and have it, save it, because there will be other times, and this will be repeated again. I know it will. Where you're going to need food and drink, especially water. You need to keep filtered, purified water put up somewhere, and frozen foods, canned food. But I think it was a learning experience. Now we know how to prepare ourselves and get ready for this never happens again. To just like be prepared and be ready to take care of your family and others if possible. If you can get a generator, that would help. Keep some kind of way to where you can power up your house or certain appliances, and I think that'd be a good idea if people would learn to do that and be responsible with that situation where you don't overdo it like some people did. I've seen shows where people had rooms for toilet paper, paper towels, and food, and now it's just going to waste, or they're just having to give it away because they got so much. I believe it was a learning experience, and we'll keep that in memory and hope that helps out people. I think it's great. So I think that's about all I got to say. That be prepared, be responsible, and take care of your family when you need to, and help others. And thank you for inviting me in, and thank you for that comment that y'all got going here tonight.
Well, that is excellent advice. Very good advice. And I agree. COVID pretty much threw everyone for a loop. And, I also agree that something similar will happen again. Personally, I think COVID was a test run, but that's just my opinion. Now, as far as all of the food and supplies that you purchased during COVID, because they were shutting places down unnecessarily, in my opinion. But one thing that you can do, I don't know if you do any canning or any kind of food preservation, but the stuff that you have in your freezers, as long as it's not showing any freezer burn, should be okay. And if you have the equipment and all, you can take that stuff out and thaw it and can it up, and it'll be good for years and years. So just want to throw that out there. But yes, and also do get a generator, if you can, because when the power goes out, let's say if we lost power for an extended period of time, our main thing is keeping her dialysis machine up and running, so, and we do have a generator for that, but we've got most of our stuff is already preserved in either by canning process or freeze dryer or dehydrating, and so the stuff that we have in the fridge and in the freezer, we'll just cook it up and use it up or whatever. But thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate you coming on with us tonight. Seth, who's next?
That would be Chat 260 Colt.
Colt.
What do you have involving questions or comments involving prepping?
Yeah, I saw a copy on that one. Comms are pretty big. I know the mesh testing thing's going on, but that being said, we built a grid up here in the North Georgia area. We've got all of Murray, Whitfield, mostly Gilmer, Catoosa, Walker counties, most of Walker counties now, under mesh tastic. And we're moving south toward Gordon and into Floyd County. So I think we're sitting around 12 to 13 repeaters that we've put up in that regards. But you gotta look at base plans, guys. So your cell phones, you're going to your primary, DMRS, or hands, go to your secondary. You're going to have mesh tactic for 3. Then you have phone signals for your final emergency side. But you can't just count on one thing. If you're watching the news as I am, as Los Angeles falls apart, makes you wonder you should go quicker with what you're doing. And I can tell you this: I've been on so many rescues, I've been on so many different emergency situations where it took 3 days to get the power back on. And it took 3 days to get the help. So no one's coming to save you. Save yourself and have a good plan.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. You know, I kind of refer to it as like a kind of like a chain of command for communications. You know, it's almost like a domino effect. You know, first power goes out, and eventually the cell phone's going to go out, and then you know, radios, they'll lose battery life or whatever, and then you got mesh tastic. So I think mesh tastic is something everybody needs to at least look into. So, well, thank you so much, Colt. Thank you for being with us tonight. Seth, who is next?
Next on the list, that is Atlanta 946. Justin, what kind of questions or comments do you have regarding to prepping?
Well, hey, good evening, Lisa and Seth, and everybody enjoying the rabbit hole tonight. I would just say this, you know, we sometimes get concerned about what people might think if we're engaged in something, you know, as crazy as prepping. But, you know, when the aliens invade and they start reading our brains, they're going to be the ones that are looking for the tinfoil oil that we've already got. So let's just not even worry about that, and let's do our own thing, and be as prepared as we feel like we need to be. So, I mean, as several people have pointed out tonight, with things like COVID and, you know, the stuff that's going on in LA right now, and, you know, we're just one. We saw what can happen with Helen. We are just one disaster away from, this could be us. This could be our backyard. This could be our own catastrophe that we have to deal with. And so being prepared is not so much about prepping as it is about just being smart, so that when some big weather event or natural disaster comes through and wipes our power out for 3 weeks, we have the means to take care of ourselves and bridge that gap. Let me break. There are so many examples of things that have happened. It's not hypothetical. It's actual events that have occurred. And so many people look to FEMA, or they look to the federal government for assistance. And, you know, it's just not an effective answer to most of the tragedies and natural disasters that have occurred. FEMA is ineffective in a lot of cases. We need to be able to take care of ourselves. And once we've established being able to take care of ourselves, we need to take a look at taking care of our friends and neighbors. And so that's something that just
completely agree on that because trying to find the right balance for yourself in preparedness in a situation like that is the difficult portion for finding out, what you're comfortable with preparing for and everything like that, especially for what you said. With one bad storm, it took out multiple different areas, especially whenever I was working in one area. It completely wiped out a distribution center that I was working at.
He was, you were working at Ingalls, but the distribution center was in, where was it, North Carolina?
Yeah.
Completely wiped out. So they were running out of product and cutting hours because it was so bad. And, and Justin's right. It only takes just one disaster. And, unless you practice your plan, as Dana says, practice the plan, then you're more likely to have your head together when it does happen. As long as you practice what you need to do in a certain order, then you should be, I'm not going to say good to go, but you're at least going to have, your head on straight partially in the midst of panic, but you'll at least know what to do to get everybody out safely, or whatever the disaster may be. So
yeah, especially with what you were saying, not being a burden.
It's bad enough that you're panicking, but if you don't have a plan, you have all the stuff that you need. But if you don't have a plan for that stuff and you're already panicked, it's going to be a really bad day for you. So, did you have anything else, Seth?
No, I think he hit some pretty good points right there.
And another thing that he said was, don't worry about what other people think. I certainly don't. I could care less what other people think about my prepping lifestyle. I'm the one that's, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody that does not prep, but, if people that don't prep look down upon me because I do, I feel sorry for them because they're not going to be prepared in a disaster or whatever the case may be. So, well, thank you so much, Justin, for your comments. Dave had said also, this is a good statement, expect to self-rescue. No one is coming. That's what you should do. You should kind of expect that, even if it might be a while before they get there. So, and I've heard Dave say many times, you are your own first responder. So, you have to treat the situation that way. But thank you so much, Justin. Is that the end of our list?
That is the end of our list.
Okay. Well, let's do one round of late check-ins, and then we will conclude.
All right.
So, late check-ins. Any repeater anywhere. Net control standing by.
This is WSAI 254, McDonough 45, Kai McDonough. Just dropping in the way of a hand, checking me in, check me out for the list.
4-5.
Yep. He was on Zello. I took a lot of notes.
Atlanta 1402 has a quick comment. Lisa and Seth, when you get around to finishing your list.
Atlanta 1402. Go ahead, Todd.
Well, good evening, Lisa and Seth. I guess David's somewhere east of us right now. And in any event, I got to listen to a little bit of that tonight. But I wanted to commend one particular gentleman, and I didn't even know what the topic was tonight, but wanted to commend one, Chad Phillips, CW43. He brought to light and exposed some things that which is really advice. And in fact, I'm going to be working on that this week. Printing out some emergency stuff to keep my vehicle, numbers and allergies and various sundry things that first responders may find. And I'm going to plant those not only in my vehicle, but my wife's car and also my daughter's vehicle. I thought that was very good. You nailed it, brother. WRKN 464-914-02. Back to the next.
Yeah, I was very impressed with his comments as well. Like he said, have everything written down. You can't rely on electronics, for everything. Have hard copies of maps, and because you can't rely on Google Maps all the time either. So thank you so much, Todd. I really appreciate that. Net control standing by for late check-ins.
This is. Net control, this is 10-248, WSFT-846. Change mine back to N. I'm finished with what I was doing there.
Chat 248. Oh, I got him. Right there. Chat 248. Matthew, go ahead.
I was just going to make a quick comment about the generator thing. I think I've said the exact same thing on a previous net, but as far as fueling that thing, look at propane instead of gasoline, because it can be stored indefinitely. Doesn't go bad. And that's all I had. Back to you.
I've heard that before. I can't remember which net it was, but yeah, you're right. Propane does not go bad like gasoline does. So and generators do run off of propane and gasoline. So propane would be your best bet.
I'll tell you what, propane and propane accessories, they are timeless in creation. Better than gas, better than charcoal.
This is true. All right. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. I think I got a text here. Dave, Dallas20, you have a comment.
A lot of great points are brought up tonight. And as Chad has said, we all used to keep emergency contact numbers on our wall back in the day. And I think we've gotten away from that. We need to re-up that for sure. Another thing I've done in my cell phone, I have Lisa listed as wife. That way, if someone needs to get in touch with my wife because I'm injured or whatever else, I may be able to unlock my phone. They know who to call instead of just scrolling through trying to find a name. Just because the last name may be the same, it may be a sister or whatever. So I have it listed that way. And also, in your GPSs, do not save your home as home. You need to have, if you need to have your home listed as something, put it as something else, or put it nowhere near your home, somewhere close by. That way, if someone gets access to your map, your phone, steals your phone, and then your garage door opener, they can come home and do that. So that's the security part of it. But having that analog stuff going, like the Simplex stuff, the radios, the batteries, the generators, a lot of this technology in a blink of an eye can go away. So great topics tonight. Great job, guys. Just wanted to wave a hand and say y'all did a great job tonight.
Well, those are good points, Dave. Also, I agree with the don't put your home address in your Google Maps, like taking you directly to your house, because, like you said, if somebody steals your car and your phone's in the car, well, they know exactly where you live now. So that's a good idea. All right, I think we are at the end of the. We're at the end of the roster here.
And before we do anything, make sure we acknowledge McDonough 45, who was in and out with us tonight. I know we got him in earlier, but never got to acknowledge that he got into the net tonight. So
okay,
just make sure I give you a shout out for it.
Alrighty then. And this is probably going to be a wrap, guys. We are at the end of the roster here, so thanks for all the comments. It's great information that was shared, and definitely need to take note of all of it and apply it to our too technical lives. We've got to kind of step away from the technology a little bit at least. Go back to old school. Seth, did you have anything else?
Not that I can think of. I think we touched on most topics and subjects that we could.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, this concludes the Rabbit Hole Net. We want to say thank you to all who participated and to those who checked in and out but stuck around to listen to the broadcast. And we had a total of 36 check-ins, including myself and Seth. We will now be returning the repeaters to normal operation. Please allow those who checked in to sign off before beginning any conversations. Thank you again, and as always, invest in precious metals, brass and lead. Good night, everybody. This is Dallas 21, WRKT 728, and
Dallas 22, WRKT 728.
And we are clear. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.